This is going to be a little bit of a different video to normal, I think, kind of. Maybe not, I don't know, I just found this thing I want to talk about, and isn't that what all my videos are? Hey Spuds, how's it going? I hope you're well. It's Jamie, welcome back to another video, or your first video that you're watching of me, I don't know, but either way, welcome, and I hope you're going to enjoy it here. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. So today I'm talking about something that I found. I found a thing, a very interesting thing on a very interesting place, Mumsnet, aka the transphobic echo chamber. I'm basically going to be talking to you about a particular post that I came across on Mumsnet. I wasn't on Mumsnet, I found it off Mumsnet because somebody else found it on Mumsnet. I don't really go on Mumsnet, actually I don't go on Mumsnet because of the whole transphobic echo chamber thing, you know? But this one kind of got my attention. It's basically a user of Mumsnet having a self-described Michelin Web-esque moment of asking themselves if they are the baddie for having anti-trans views. The post is from someone who seems to have transphobic views that would kind of be categorized under the TERF-like gender critical category of transphobia. Both terms that I don't really like because I do think they're just a nice way of saying transphobe or transphobic or anti-trans or whatever, but important in certain contexts to distinguish between the people who are like, I just hate trans people and I'm transphobic, but I don't justify it, I'm just transphobic, and the people that are like, I'm not transphobic, I'm a lovely, wonderful person, just feminism, and they hide behind feminism to be transphobic, basically. So in this post, the OP, the original poster, is slowly realizing that less and less people in their actual life and society in general are agreeing with their viewpoints on trans issues, topics, people. And those that do agree with them seemingly do not want to discuss it or do not think it's a good idea to discuss it. And that leads the poster of this post to question if their viewpoints on trans people are bad. Now that I've built the suspense up over the video topic for quite long enough, it's time for me to take a little break and talk to you about today's video sponsor, Raycon. I love Raycon, and I've talked about them multiple times before on the channel. Raycon offer wireless earbuds in a range of colours and fit choices, meaning whatever the size of your ear holes, you'll get a snug, noise-isolating fit, and as a bonus, they won't fall out. Very good. I've worn my pair of Raycons in very many different situations, from mowing the lawn to just walking and listening to music around the house. I don't know, just any situation I want to listen to something, I will use them. And they always sound great and stay put. And not only do these earbuds offer you comfortable not falling outness, they also give you 6 hours of playtime, stress-free and seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and Raycon has a 45-day free return policy. So click the link in the description box or go to buyraycon.com/Jammidodger to get 15% off your order and check out Raycon for yourself. Thank you very much for listening. Now back to the video and the self-aware transphobe person. Let's start reading the actual post now, right? I'm a bit disheartened this week, if I'm honest. I sometimes feel like this is a fight that we're just not going to win. Two main things recently, one personal, one geopolitical, I suppose. I'm curious about what they think this fight is. What fight? Anyway, next bit. I didn't want to interrupt so early. On the geopolitical level, a look across the pond to the US, where the only people who are saying the same things as us are friggin' Rand Paul and Marjorie Taylor Greene, neither of which are people that I associate my politics being anywhere close to. So basically the type of people that they see in America agreeing with their views on trans people are very right-wing and do not align with any of the other political viewpoints whatsoever, and this is making them question things. Okay, right. I'm going to carry on reading before saying too much just yet. There is just no bloody way that the left, my home, will align with us now given who our allies are in the States. They just can't. Even those that agree with us will never position themselves as having the same concerns as Marjorie, QAnon, Parkland, Taylor, bloody Greene. So that was their political conundrum, basically. They've realised that some people in America do not align with them in any other way, politically apart from on trans rights and people and things. And that seems to have left them curious about their own position. Okay, I feel like we're just getting like a lay of the land at the minute about the feelings of this person before saying too much. The second is personal. I work for a large global organisation in a senior role. We had our global leadership away day a few weeks ago, on Teams of course, and there was a presentation for some US colleagues from some US colleagues on LGBTQ+. Being able to bring your whole self to work, I don't know why I said LGBTQ+ like that, I'm sorry. Being able to bring your whole self to work, that kind of thing, from 2 gay colleagues. 1 lesbian, 1 gay. Okay, the workplace seems to be doing some positive things. Bring your whole self to work day and every other day from here on out. I like to hear it. So far, so good. Absolutely the right thing for my organisation to be doing. So clearly they're LGB supportive. This is also seemingly a common pattern with people with like the more gender critical type transphobic views, where they would view themselves as being like LGBT plus accepting, but then like when it comes to the T, it's like, nah, not so much. Then they go on to pronouns and how everyone should start every meeting asking what pronouns attendees want to have used and encouraging everyone to put them in our email sign-offs. I think that's good stuff. I'm never going to do that. Of course you're not. Okay. But I can already see it happening around the organisation, particularly the US. But some of the easily led want to be noticed over here will soon follow suit. I like that, and by like, I mean I hate it. They agree with you bringing your whole self to work, except when it comes to your pronouns. No, leave your pronouns at home. We don't want pronouns here. I will just guess your pronouns. Okay, that's not quite bringing your whole self to work then if you can't comfortably express your pronouns to others. I also have the question, like seriously, what impact does it have on their life if pronouns are in your email signature or the email signature of others and meetings start with just, as you introduce yourself, saying your pronouns? It literally has no impact on anybody's life except the trans people involved. It will mean so much to them and create a much more comfortable work environment. But oh no, this person is being stubborn? I don't know. I don't really understand what there is to not like. And then basically saying that other people who are being nice about pronouns and saying them at the beginning of meetings in their email signatures and stuff are easily led attention seekers, basically. That's what it comes across like they're saying. That's a bit rude to say and a bit weird. It's like, oh, there's this thing that will make absolutely zero impact on my life whatsoever and definitely will not have a negative impact, but all my trans colleagues will feel infinitely more comfortable and it will have a positive effect on their life. But anybody who goes along with this is an attention seeker. Just a strange leap there. It feels like a very playground thing, you know? It's like, oh, if you do this thing that I don't like the sound of and I don't want to do it, but I don't really know why I want to do it, I just don't want to do it. But if you do it, and that might make me look bad for not doing it, I'm just going to call you names for doing the thing that I don't want to do and look bad for not doing, so I'll flip it onto you. Sorry, that I rambled on too much, but you get what I mean. Moving on, okay? My husband won't listen to me talk about this sort of stuff anymore. He agrees with me, but says that it's basically like someone saying they don't agree with all the Black Lives Matter stuff. Oh my god. So there's clearly an awareness that kind of like socially and morally wise, being against trans people falls on the wrong side, if that's the leap he made. My best friend works with young people, and whilst I've tried to approach it with her very gently, including all of the stats about single-sex spaces. What stats? I mean, there are stats, but the stats that exist show that trans women pose literally no threat in women's spaces, and how women and children's safety is negatively affected as a result. Trans women's safety, yes, because by this logic of like trans women not going in women's spaces, you're pushing trans women into men's spaces, which is dangerous for trans women. Her reaction is that she gets all of that, but she works with children every day who are tortured by their own bodies. She gets all of that. She gets all of like the made up lies and the fear mongering. Trans women are women and belong in women's spaces. The end. And are these kids she's talking about trans kids? I'm so confused by that last part of the sentence, I don't even know what to say about it, and I don't even want to try and make any assumptions about it. I know that our concerns are justified. I know that women's safety / opportunities are going to be negatively affected, but if I'm completely honest with myself, I just can't see how we're going to stop it. Seriously, what do they think they know? Trans women have been using women's spaces and have been allowed to compete at Olympic level of sports for years. Like, years. And oh look, there's been no major crisis. The whole fear of safety and fear of overtaking from things is a very recent thing, and it's much newer than the actual access that trans women have had. And it's all just built on lies, to be honest, and fear-mongering and just made up stuff. There is no justifiable reason for fearing trans people. Also, I just want to address the whole, like, this is just something we're not going to stop, because I feel like, and typically that is in reference to like stopping trans people from accessing the correctly gendered spaces, so stopping trans women from accessing women's spaces and trans men from men's spaces, but it's mostly focused on trans women from women's spaces. Because if transphobes got their way of pushing trans women out of women's spaces, that would put literal, like, men like me in women's spaces and put trans women in a lot of danger by forcing them into men's spaces. How is that fair on anyone? How does that make sense? The only way it makes sense is for trans men to be ignored in this argument, which they are. Transphobes don't care about trans men in this discussion because it makes their whole argument crumble. Julie Bindel, of course, has a tweet pinned that the misogyny at the moment is like a tidal wave and that's how it feels. Trans people aren't doing that though. Stop using us, particularly trans women, as scapegoats. I'm not sure why I'm writing this really. Certainly not to bring anyone down. There's no one I can speak to about this in real life. How do you even go about discussing these things when, in my work at least, it would probably get me fired and everyone around me in my personal life has either bought into the nonsense, hook, line and sinker, or just doesn't want to hear it. And end. That's the end. Okay, well that was a ride. So they can see that people don't agree with them, both on a personal level and a political level, quite widely. And they also recognise that their views would count as discrimination in the workplace and therefore potentially get them fired. But they're still not getting there with seeing the problem. Like, they still think that they're right and justified in their opinions that are anti-trans. Which from this single post seemed to be equating pronouns going in bios to women's safety disappearing. I know it'll be more than that, but that's all they talked about here. They didn't really get into much depth about their specific, like, anti-trans views, but a lot of it was, like, coming through. And it's all just, I know this, I know that, I know I'm justified, I know I'm right, but no actual reasoning given, no actual backing for this, just like I feel it. And it's like, yeah, but the science and the stats and the real life people are saying this, and this is what we can see is actually the truth. And it's like, no, I don't want to see that because I think it's something different and what I think must be the objective truth. They were getting there, but it feels like they're just so deep in the anti-trans tropes that they just couldn't quite get it. They're this moment of like, are we the baddies for being transphobic? Oh no, I know I'm justified. I'm just perplexed by this, to be honest, but I'm also very glad that there's somebody willing to admit that anti-trans views are not going to win out in the long run. That makes me feel very happy. We are not a threat. Stop treating us like we are. We just want to live our lives and have the same rights as everybody else. Thank you. Anyway, that's everything I have for today's video. Leave your comments down below about what you think. Did you like this more kind of like heavier discussion of things? You know I like keeping it humorous and light most of the time, but I think it's important sometimes to look a bit deeper at things. This is one of those occasions. Let me know what you think and think about giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.